What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And this one, I'm going to be showing you how to make the new Playtime exterior. This is part 3, and in this one we're going to be doing the little castle spires over here on the left, and in their entirety, sides and back included, and I guess ceiling, along with the little yellow curved guys on the right side here. And that is all. So with that being said, enjoy the tutorial, and I will catch you on the flip side. Alright, so we're gonna start off this part with an immediate grind, and, yeah, it won't be too bad. I'll show you how to do it with slash fill a lot easier, because, yeah, manually filling all of it is just not something you should be interested in. I think I did the same thing on the original as well for this. Anyway, you want to start by getting out yellow concrete, yellow terracotta, brown concrete, and cyan concrete. That's all we'll need for a little while here, because that's this area. We could use stone, but I'm not really sure yet. So we're going to start with the yellow walls and the brown pillars. We'll do them both, but I just want to start with the yellow walls for now. You want to start by extending each yellow block, whether that be a concrete or a terracotta, up by 11. And yeah, it should be, well, 12 blocks in total now, except for the areas where it goes lower. But essentially, what I would recommend doing is bringing each of the yellow terracottas only up by 11. And this includes all sides. So yeah, I'll just kind of, I'll do it on 2 sides for the example, and then I'll just ramble after that or whatever. You just want to make sure it's 2 sides that share a corner. At least for the purpose of the demonstration here. So, you know, one of the long sides and one of the short sides. Not both short or both long or whatever. And yeah, I guess I'll do the left side since I'm right here. And nope, that's too short. There we go. Sometimes I don't count and I just try to like measure. And you know, normally that doesn't exactly go very well. Okay, so there you go, I have those 2. I'm actually going to break these brown concretes on the inside and just kind of bring the yellow all the way through to a point like so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to place 10 yellow on this corner. So it should be 1 shorter than the terracottas. And whatever this coordinate is, I'm going to copy it. And then I can just go to either, like, end of the yellow on these sides, and I can do slash fill, tilde, 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 and then that coordinate, and do yellow, not dash, underscore concrete, keep. And you see it'll just kind of fill in the wall, it'll leave the yellow terracotta. And that'll make this go, like, a whole lot faster. Because, you know, I don't want to be here for 15 minutes filling that in. The brown concrete, there's also an easy way to do it, but we'll explain that in a second. That goes higher anyway. But, yeah, hopefully everyone is having a good day or night. I guess I am for the most part. I don't really have any complaints. More of this, which is something. It's not exactly the worst. I feel like it's better than Chapter 2. I'm just biased against Chapter 2 for some reason. I don't know, but I do feel like this is marginally easier. Probably because it's, like, the exterior, and I tend to enjoy the exterior builds more. Sometimes, it depends. I have a culprit I'm working on right now. I don't think I can say it. Especially for the members. Sorry, guys. You won't get it. It's a secret. But I like don't know. I did the inside of it first because, you know, I kind of wanted to base the exterior off of the interior, and I just like can't find a good reference. So like the only reference that there is shows the front and right of it, and you know, I kind of want to be able to see the like back. I mean, I could just inference the back, but the angle is so weird I like can't understand it. Anyway, you should end up with something that looks maybe like this. It might be different depending on how you do it. I'll give you a second as I get prepared for the next part. Okay, so you want to extend each brown concrete up by 18. And yeah, it'll be, what is that, 5 taller? No, that's more than 5. That's 7 taller than the yellow concrete. And yeah, so The easy way to do these is if you head to the inside and you just basically make a square, and for some of them, like, you'll obviously have the bottom here, which you'll have 3, so it'll be brought back by 5, I think. And you just want to make sure you have a square, because you want... So you want the top... I guess it would be the top, what is it, 6 rows? 1, 2, 3... Yeah, the top 6 rows of brown concrete will want to connect across, like, on the back here. So, essentially, what I'm going to do instead of, you know, doing it that way, is I'm going to stand on the, we'll say the back right-hand corner out of this square, and I'm going to copy the coordinate again. And then I'm going to go to the top left, and I'm going to break a brown concrete here, and then stand on the next one down, and I'll do slash fill, whatever, brown concrete, and I'll use either outline or hollow, doesn't really matter. Hollow might be better just in general, but yeah, and it should give you this. And that looks very thick for some reason. I don't know why it does. I think it's just I'm getting pranked by myself. But anyway, yeah. So, and again, you would, if you don't want to do all of that extra work, it's just the top 6 rows you want to bring back on that portion. It'll be one off the top of the yellow, and that's fine because the stone ceiling sits on the yellow, which we're going to worry about that later. I will get more into that at that point. But yeah, so what I'm actually going to end up doing for this instead is I'm just going to, like, break a corner on this one, and I'll see, okay, yeah, no, that's 110, so essentially, as I make these squares, I can kind of just note that I need to be at Y110, and, you know, as long as the Y number there reads 110, I should be fine. Now, when you're doing this, you also technically don't have to do outline or hollow. I'm going to do hollow to remove the yellow there. It doesn't matter, because the only thing that will truly change about it is just, like, the inside. And really, I think the hollow or outline only matters if you are planning on doing something with the interior of this, because otherwise, again, you're not going to see it anyway. But I just like to kind of keep everything a bit more perfect in that sense. And yeah, for this one, it'll be easier because I can just go front right and back left. And same with the next corner, I guess. But yeah. Overall, not insanely complicated. Just kind of tedious. You'll find with a lot of my tutorials that becomes the thing. Like, they are complicated sometimes, yes. Like, this will definitely get complicated, but hopefully I break it down enough for you to be like, yeah, okay, that makes enough sense. And yeah, that annoys me, but that's fine. It doesn't actually matter, but also, you know, it is a lot of things like this where you're just filling massive areas, because I do like my scaling a little bit larger, especially with the game builds. With something like a McDonald's or whatever, I'll try to be more reasonable, but like for FNAF, I'm sure you've seen my, yeah, just, it's a lot, that's all. Although it's weird, I've been starting to get into other maps, and it's like, I'm so used to the scaling on these maps I've been working on recently, like, I guess this and kind of Bendy, and, like, I'm so discombobulated with it, especially starting. I was starting the thing earlier I was talking about, and I'm so lost. Whoa, 666? Does that mean I did that wrong? Why did you fill more? Oh, because is it lower? Oh, no, I just didn't do outline, that's why. Okay. Wait, really? Or, what, I did, huh? Oh, wait, no, because that's just the bottom, never mind. It's not important. Like, it's the same size, whatever. Yeah, it's the same. Same height and everything? Yeah, okay. But anyway, you should be like this. And if you do want a a point to use, the top of this pillar should line up with the, not the top block of the red P, but it'll be one down. It'll be this little row right here. Or alternatively, if you were to walk across from the top of it, you'll end up just like right kind of here on it. Anyway, yeah, you should have this. We'll work on the brown pillars first, and then we'll finish up the yellow wall, and maybe we'll fill in the top of it just because that won't take particularly long. You want to, from these pillars of brown concrete, you want to go up diagonally out with brown concrete. That'll go kind of up, I guess, and around the pillar we already have. It almost creates like a lip over it, like so. I did this with slabs on the original, which was fine, but it was kind of weird. And so that was one of the things I did absolutely want to not do the same. Yeah, and then after this part is done, I think we'll go over and do the yellow little curves on the other side. And then there's the barn sections, as I call them, which is I guess the game station. Although the game station is underground. But I'm talking both in the game and in my build. I have evidence, I swear, I'm not crazy. It is underground. You can tell the windows are fake. Because there's actually half of them are broken. I don't know, it's like they just copy pasted the 2 window designs. It's like a perfect checkerboard pattern too, it's funny. For those who haven't built my chapter 2. But also, I don't know if that's out yet, actually. Well, it depends. Depends on when I start releasing those. But at the time of recording this, I feel like that was the first Whack-A-Wuggy part, rather than Musical Memory, so I'm pretty sure that isn't actually out yet. That I kind of fixed the windows. But anyway, you should end up with this. Now, I'm going to instruct this twice, and hopefully that'll be enough, but you obviously have to do it 8 times. So, you want to start on each of the brown pillars, and the rows that you just placed should be rows of 10. You want to take the middle 4 on each side and place cyan concrete off of them. You'll just essentially be leaving 3 on the left and right, or on the corners. You'll then go diagonally inward and just kind of connect on the corner, because you'll essentially connect diagonally, but you just want to make sure you fill in anything that would be visible from the top, assuming you didn't actually fill in the full top. Like so. You just want to copy that row one more time. On each of the rows of 4, the middle 2 cyan will be brought up. And then you'll go diagonally in again, and just in by 1, and essentially it should connect again. And I'll show you from an overhead so you can see the circle shape. Hopefully that's helpful. You then want to take out of the, 2 diagonals here, it's not the outermost ones, but it's 1 out. You'll take the inner cyan and extend it up by 1, and then connect them together to create rows of 4, basically. And then you should be able to go diagonally in and connect the 4s together. Just like so. You then want to go up diagonally in from that and trace the shape on the inside with cyan concrete, ensuring that you add an additional block on the inner corner. So it'll essentially give you this kind of circle from above. It's a 4x4 square without the corners, oh my god. You'll then fill that in a block above with cyan concrete. And boom, that's what the domes look like. Now, yet again, to reiterate one more time, just making sure that I have the correct number of rows and stuff. On each of the edges of this little lip, you're going to place cyan concrete on the middle 4 brown, which just leaves 3 on the left and right. You'll then go diagonally in and connect on the corner, so basically just, I guess filling in the entire... That would have been an interesting way to do it, is fill in the entire row. Like the center here, block up, and then, add the rows of 4 additionally. You'll then copy that row one more time. Extend the middle of the rows of 4 up. Then go diagonally out from those and out 1. Oh god, what is going on? Okay. And then out of the rows of 2 that are just outside of the middle ones, you'll extend the inner cyan up by 1 and connect them together to create more rows of 4. You can then connect those rows of 4 on the diagonal. A block above that, trace the inside of it with cyan concrete, including an additional block on the corner, basically any block you'd have to place. And then you'll fill in the center there, the 4x4 without the corners. So if you need me to, or if you need that to be run through again, I would just watch back the first time that I did it, because I feel like that was better. That one was a little bit more rushed. And yeah, you'll want to do that on the other 6. So I should be able to just do this in theory. I don't actually think I need to look. But again, I do have a bit of an advantage in all of these tutorials knowing the build, so, you know. Plus, I also pick up on the patterns, I feel like fairly quickly, that I make. Not everybody is necessarily quick at learning, and it is a video game, so that's, I guess, another thing you have to consider. But yeah, I guess I'll leave this in, because whatever. Anything fun to say? Not really. How's everybody's day going, I guess? Even though I'm not streaming, so nobody can reply live, but oh well. So unfortunate. I've thought about just like Twitch streaming, recording a tutorial, and just, you know, seeing how it goes. I feel like that'd be pretty funny. Back to the old days. And then they could see when I make mistakes, and I feel like that'd be funny. I don't know. Also, slightly dumb at the same time, but whatever. I might structure block these, because this is going to take a little while, I think. Yeah, it might take a little while. What is going on? Okay, that's what's going on. I just missed a corner. Classic. What did I... That's fine, surely. I don't know if it's because I'm doing it differently or if... Oh, no, it is just because I'm doing it differently. Okay. I think, right? Oh, yeah. Okay, I see what I just did. Okay, that makes more sense. I just, like, forgot. But I got there. It's okay. This took me an extra minute for some reason. Yeah, that's also, I guess, an option. You can just structure block them. And I think I will, because I don't want to be here for 15 days. So I just go to the corner, and I know it's a 10 by 10, so... And then I'm just going to make the Y 15, because there's no point in it being too tall. It doesn't make a difference. So I'll just use that to my advantage. And, of course, I'll structure block the one that I almost botched, but... It's fine. And yeah. Almost there. There we go. Nice, you should have this. Now. The next step is from the top of the yellow concrete. You want to go up diagonally out with a row of cyan concrete on all sides, which I guess includes a yellow terracotta, but that's besides the point. I'm just going to do the front for now so I can, again, be a little bit quicker with this for a second. And then I'll probably re-explain it for these short sides, because these short sides I think are different. But specifically with the front... No, actually... Is it? I guess I can just check. Kind of. It's weird. But yeah, you just want a row like so. You'll extend it up with an additional row of cyan concrete. So then you have 2 rows, according to my calculations. And so you do want to keep this consistent as you do it. And I would keep it basically from the front each time you do this, obviously except for the sides because you can't do it that way. But you want to go right to left, and you want to leave the first cyan open and then place 3 cyan on the next ones. Gap of 2, 3 cyan. Gap of 2, 3 cyan, gap of 2, 3 cyan, etc. And you want to keep going to reach the end, which should be a gap of 2. And on the next one, again, you'll leave the first open, and you'll do the same pattern of 3, 2, 3, 2, whatever. And you want to do this on all of them. The left and right's a little bit different. It still is the pattern, but it's essentially just how you want to go about it. I start from the front and go backwards, I believe, the same way. Yeah, and it should also end with 2 cyan. So again, I'm going to take just the left here for now, and I'll place the row of cyan up diagonally out with another one on top. And then going from the front, I'll leave a gap. Or a gap at... No, yeah, a gap of 1, 3 cyan, 2 gap, 3 cyan, 2 gap, 3 cyan, etc. It threw me off because I'm looking on my alt account at the, inside, which would be the right, And I'm actually building on the left, which has just made my brain, like, pause for a second and be like, wait, what? Thankfully I remembered, though, I guess. But yeah, it's gonna be a whole lot of this. This, I guess, isn't the worst part. Again, it's a little bit tedious, as most things are, but it's manageable. And I am literally just like looking forward and seeing, okay, yeah, I'll have the 2 on that side, so just keeping it the same. And same over here, but it's kind of harder to see. Well, no, you can tell which one's the 1 and the 2. That's the only gap spaces, so. Oopsies. Anyway, you should have this. You want to get out stone, and you can fill in the ceiling of this in with stone. Now, slash fill is perfectly fine here. The way I would figure this out is I'm going to break through the brown concrete pillar. I'm going to say there. Oh, it's a block off. And I'm just going to trace the cyan through, and I do see that it's actually just up against the cyan. And so the stone will sit directly on the yellow concrete here. And it'll be like, you know, 1 row down from all the cyan, 2 from where the little, I guess, ridges are. And if I stand in this corner, I'm just going to copy the coordinate, and then I want to do the same on the opposite corner and just stand inside, and then that will be where the position is. So it's just 1, yeah, okay, and then I guess I have to break there as well. And if I stand here, I can go slash fill, stone, and I am going to do keep, just in case everything goes horribly wrong, and you see it fills in right there. Any spot you broke in the brown concrete, you might want to fill in if you didn't, like me, because I kind of forgot that was important for some reason. But it definitely is. If you want to do the tile thing later, I'm not going to talk about that fully, but I ended up, I think, making a separate one for this because the proportions worked differently. Or I just, like, altered the original one. I don't remember exactly. So you want to leave a gap of 2 in from each of these cyan concrete little ridge top things where it sticks over the stone, and you want to just kind of replicate it again with the gap of 2. You could totally add like pathways here. They're definitely good pathway spots. Just you feel like you might want the stone in between them lowered a level, so it'll, you know, it won't be so close to just falling off. Although I guess it works still, because, you know, you get a nice view to the forest around, at least in my original one. That was a fun thing to do. That also is absolutely abysmal for my frame rate. Having that there, my PlayStation seems fine, or has been seeming fine as I've been, you know, doing the build stuff, but I can absolutely feel it sometimes. I'll, like, turn the wrong way, and it just, like, frame rate goes from whatever it's at, I don't know, 120 or something, to, like, 3. Not actually 3, yeah, that's an exaggeration. But still, I can definitely feel a drop. Anyway. Almost there. Really took 25 minutes, pretty much, to do these. That's insane. But that'll be the main majority of the, I guess, important stuff on the left. There's one thing I do want to do, actually, before we switch sides. It's not necessarily important, but I just feel like it should be done now, because if we wait, it's going to be annoying. But anyway, you should have this. And that looks pretty good. Starting to come together. Now, if you head over to the left side, you want to get out andesite walls and diorite walls. Hopefully I won't go too far here. Yeah, no, I won't. And this doorway here on the left, you can probably guess what we're doing with it. You're filling in the bottom row with andesite walls and the top 2 with diorite walls. And you can have that lead somewhere if you want, or you just can't have it at all. It doesn't particularly matter. A lot of things like that, you can just pick and choose what you do with them, because obviously it's not necessarily important. So the other thing I want to talk about before we start the yellow curved bits is the parking lot is going to be part of the tutorial. I don't know if I mentioned that, I might have. So we can't really fill forward anymore without going crazy with that. So we're just going to kind of, because I don't want to, I think I want to mark that from the yellow itself and the red itself, rather than, like, you know, giving you like a number of 50 or whatever, however many gray concrete over it is. It's definitely not 50. But yeah, either way. So I've kind of just been ignoring that as a fact. Anyway, you want to clear your inventory and get out the following. Yellow concrete, smooth quartz blocks, black concrete, warp stairs, warp slabs, warp planks, warped trapdoor, perhaps gray concrete, just to keep it symmetrical. You can just like get away with not using this, but I do want to keep it symmetrical as I mentioned, so yeah, well, we'll go with that, I guess. And so if you start on the right off the cyan concrete, you know, E shape here, you want to take the bottom right cyan and extend it right with a yellow concrete. Now, you'll then extend it forward by 5. And it should be in line with the end of the sandstone. That's fairly familiar. Extend the front one right with 16 yellow. Then 8 smooth quartz. And then 52 yellow concrete. You will notice the red section is... Ooh, I don't know what that block was that I just broke out. It's fine. You will notice that the red side is a lot longer. That is because of Make a Friend specifically, and also because of the brick section on the end of the right side here, which does make the side a little bit longer. So the only thing I want to do is the... one smooth quartz we have. Now... Hold on, I'm just kind of making sure that I know what's going on. Okay, yeah, you want to take this row of 8 smooth quartz or whatever it was and extend it up with 2 additional rows. It was 8, can confirm. From the furthest right smooth quartz, you're going to go left and place 3 black concrete, smooth quartz, and then 4 black concrete. Copy that row one more time. Then extend the smooth quartz up 1 and then left 1. So as per usual with this, I'm just going to make the windows flush, but if you want to push them back, you can. This side I have all of them pushed back, but again, and I would for consistency at least on this side, but again, with the red you kind of have that debate of the ones that you can't push back. So, you know, you could use banners or trapdoors or something to do it, but you also have the issue with those with the simulation distance, plus they're just not perfect anyway. So if you start from the furthest left yellow, you want to extend this guy up by 3. Then from this guy, you want to go to the right with 6 black concrete, a smooth quartz, 6 black concrete, a yellow, and then 2 black concrete. To the right of this row of 3, you'll place 3 more black, yellow, 2 black, 2 yellow, 2 black, 1 yellow, 2 black, 2 yellow, 2 black, 1 yellow, 6 black, yellow, 6 black, yellow, 6 black, yellow, 2 black, 2 yellow, 2 black, 1 yellow, 2 black, 1 yellow, 2 black, 1 yellow, and you should end in line with the final one. You can just bring that yellow down by 2 if you want. Extend each black concrete up by 1, and... Or you can just copy the row one more time, actually. Because the smooth quartz is brought up, and the only other thing would be that there is a smooth quartz in place of a yellow, but again, we're going to do the same thing we did for the red side, where we're just going to build those in later, because it's just a lot easier to do it that way. And yeah. I don't know why I just tried to do that. That's brilliant for me. Absolutely spectacular. Almost award-worthy. Anyway, you should have this. This should be fairly familiar what we're doing. You're extending the black concrete rows of 2 down by 2 as well, so they connect into the yellow at the base here. There's a good amount of these. It's mainly the, like, long ones rather than the, you know, the ones going across rather than up and down. You'll fill in the lower portion here, these 2 rows, with yellow concrete, along with placing a row of yellow concrete over the windows. And you'll have a little bit of smooth quartz in the way, just kind of skip over it. Pretend like it's just, you know, it's no bother, it's just, you know, it's passing by. Except it's permanently there, I guess. It's not really passing by. Except for texturing. I guess it's not permanently there for the texturing. Anyway. You should have this. Starting from the left, and I won't mess this up this time, I don't swear, for those of you who probably, I had a comment from a member saying, did you mess it up? And I was like, yeah, I did. You want to go left to right on top of this yellow, and you want to place 3 yellow, 3 black, and then you're going to go 4 yellow and 3 black, and keep repeating those 2 until you essentially reach the end. Now, you're going to end up with, I think, 1 yellow at the end? Yeah, 1 yellow at the end. After a row of 3 black. And yeah, you'll end up with a bunch of windows. See, I didn't mess it up that time, yippee, and you should have this. Yeah, you'll notice if you mess it up. Like I did on the other side. Extend, or what? Copy that row 2 more times. You're not I guess you are extending it up by 2 more rows, but that wasn't what I meant. It's not, I have specific ways of saying specific things in tutorials, and I feel like even if I say something that's technically correct, that I wouldn't normally say, it's like, what? Why? I guess after recording almost 1,000 of these videos, you know, you get to the point to where it's like, yeah, whatever. Actually, it's been over 1,000, I guess, because there's a bunch that aren't in the playlist. Along with, obviously, the members-only ones that aren't, like this. But I know, like, Chapter 2 isn't, Bendy isn't, Ban 0 isn't. The ones that I essentially put into their own playlists as I recorded them, I didn't. But it was because I wanted to have them, like, a bunch together in the tutorials playlist, but I don't even know if I'm going to add them at this point. Like, I might just make that city tutorial specifically and remove all the video game tutorials and just, you know, have that as its own thing. Anyway, you should have this. That looks a little bit weird, but we're going to get to a point in a second to where it won't look so weird. You want to place an additional row of yellow concrete on top. This won't be that point, though, unfortunately. The point will probably be when we do the warped around the windows, which we'll do after we do the archways. So, yeah, it's time for more of those. If you take the top left-hand black concrete corner of each, you want to count left by 3 and up by 1 and place an upside-down warp slab. Alternatively, you can take the top right and count right 2, up 1, upside-down warp slab there. You kind of need to mix and match these, just so you get all of them in, because you're going to want one on the furthest left yellow, along with, well, I guess to the side of this window here. It should be like that. And you should know the drill because it's the 3rd time we will have done this, and I want to say the last, but there might be some on the back, I don't remember. Extend each slab up with a slab. I'll do 2 at a time. Then go right with a plank. Up with a slab. Right with a plank. Up with a slab. Right with a plank. Right with 2 upside down slabs, each with a slab on top, and then right at that top row of slabs with a plank. The way you'll know you're correct on everything here is if this furthest right one lines up with this yellow here, and each of them line up perfectly. Essentially, if you take this warped plank and you count right by 1 and trace down, you'll end up on the beginning of the previous one. And so again, it's, you know, slab, plank, slab, plank. I'm not going to say it that way because that's just going to throw you off more. But yeah. Would say this tutorial is not for the faint of heart. I think that's a reasonable assumption to make. Wasn't for the faint of heart to build either originally for me, good lord. It was nice to have Chapter 2 for like a good amount of this, but then once I was finished Chapter 2 and finished Badum and Ban 0, it was like, okay, that's a little bit too much playtime, Co. Because I didn't really want to start anything else at the time. But I also couldn't work on this all of the time because, oh my goodness. You know, like, it's just one of those kinds of builds. But regardless. I'll give you a second once I'm done. But anyway, you should end up with this. You can probably assume what's next. You're extending each warped plank back by 1, and then you're doing the funny thing where you extend it down with yellow concrete and fill in the peaks to the left. And yeah. And then we can do the quartz, I think. I'd rather do the... I know last time we did the, like, window trims before the quartz, but I feel like doing the quartz first makes more sense, because then the window trims won't get in our way at all. Even though they won't technically either way, but... I don't know. It's like a trap door that would get in the way, but barely. It's not like it's covering an entire block. It's just like a sliver of it. Like, what, a 16th, probably? I don't know, trapdoors are thin. You should end up with this. So we're gonna go left to right and just sweep through and get all of them. So the first thing I would actually recommend is filling in the little left side here with yellow concrete, just to the, like, row in line with the cyan, like so. Which is 5 rows back. There's no quartz or anything on here, I just feel like filling this in now is probably good to get out of the way. Anyway, you want to take this first row of smooth quartz between the windows, and you want to extend it up by 2. The top block will be brought left by 1, and then the block below that will be brought left by 2 and right by 1. Continuing to the right to this, circle here that's kind of obstructed by some windows, you want to take this row of 2 at the top and count right by 2 and break 3 smooth quartz going right, or place 3 smooth quartz going right. Left one will be brought up by 1. From this window here, if you count right by 2 whole windows to this one, the 3x3s, you want to break 2, or you want to place 2 rows of smooth quartz left of the black concrete. So it's like a little 2x3. It's almost like a shutter. Extend this row down a row, and then the middle 2 blocks can be brought left a row as well. Count right 1 more window, and to the left of the bottom black concrete, you'll place a smooth quartz. Extend down 1, and then that bottom one can be brought left by 1 and right by 3. Of that row of 5, you'll trace the middle 3 to the other side of the black concrete, where you'll just place smooth quartz there. Still looking at the 3x3 windows, you'll count right an additional 1, and from the bottom 2 rows, you'll place 2 smooth quartz left of each of them to create a 2x2. To the right of that window, between the, I guess the final 2 long ways black concrete windows, you want to replace the top yellow between them with a smooth quartz. Then extend up 1 and right 1. Of this lower row, you're counting right another window to this one, which is a 2x4, and you want to place 2 rows of smooth quartz above it. The bottom row can be brought right 1 and then down 1. Between these 2 windows here, it'll be like the 2 windows are 1 block apart. Well, I guess it's not very helpful. It's these 2 here that I'm looking at. You'll replace the top yellow between them with a smooth quartz. There's literally nothing else with it. That's just all. You can, to the right of the final window, break the bottom 2 yellow and replace them with smooth quartz. Then if you trace all the way up to the top, to this one, count down 1 and then place 4 smooth quartz going down from that block. And the middle 2 you will break to the left. You don't want to bring the yellow back on this side yet. I mean, we will later have to, but it's only 1 that we need to bring back anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Anyway, with the 3x3 windows, you should know the drill. If you are looking at them, off the bottom right black concrete, you'll place a warp stair facing left. Bottom left, warp stair facing right. Top left, upside down stair facing right, and then top right, upside down stair facing left. You want to connect the stairs with trap doors that essentially create like a circular shape. So it'll be at the bottom here, at the top here, and then you'll open them on the sides. And then outside of each of those, you'll place another trap door just kind of protruding out of the circle, or extruding, or whatever, and it'll give you this. And, you know, that's about as circular as you can get with a 3x3 space, I would say. Such like an old design, too. Like, this isn't even necessarily that recent. I've only started using it recently. I think that, like, the refresh church would be the oldest example, but even then, that's like a year and a half old, maybe? Now that I'm thinking about it, that is still fairly old, I mean, like, for all things considered, but it's not, like, ancient. Not like the first thing I ever built, you know? Quite the opposite, actually. Anyway. I'm gonna do all the trapdoors first, because I'm just a little bit special like that, I guess. And I feel like it'll be funny. So I want to see how it looks like with that in mind. That philosophy. Wow, we're already at 40 minutes. That's crazy. We've, like, barely done anything. I mean, we got the entire this side. Like, this side. Wow, that's brilliant. I want to get the tops of these done. Now, we're actually going to kind of preemptively plan ahead for the barn sections when we do this. As in just, like, you know, filling in the roofs only as far back as we need to and pretty much cutting off perfectly where the barns will be, rather than what we did for the other side with the little brown pillars on the castle section. This is annoying to place off the black concrete, because I cannot tell if I'm on the, like, bottom of the middle or the top of the bottom. Haven't really made that mistake, like, at all, but still. Okay, I'm curious. How does this look? Yeah, I don't really know what I was expecting, but... Anyway. Okay. Almost there. And yeah, I think I want to do the barn section after we get the brick section on the right done. Those two kind of clash a little bit. So that will be a little bit annoying whenever we get there, but that won't even be this part. That'll be next part. We start that, I would imagine. But we'll see. I could be wrong on that. Anyway, you should end up with this. Nice. Definitely looks weird to see it, because I know the other windows were 2x2s. So to see them not 2x2s is kind of weird. Okay, so the yellow concrete on the far left here, you can bring this guy, this, you know, top row, all the way back until it just runs into where these smooth quartz will be. It's not actually going to probably... it might hit it, yeah. It's going to hit it for me. But it's up to you. And then for this one, we have the same thing going with the... What do I want to say here? The window. It goes the same distance back. Not all of them have it. It's really only, like, the couple here on the right, yeah, it's, or the left, I mean, the, like, innermost 5 have it. So if you take this bottom slab, you're just gonna end up bringing it all the way back to the smooth quartz. This warped plank you want to bring back with the following, though. You want to extend it back with 2 warped planks, a gray concrete, 11 black concrete, gray concrete, and then you'll just go all the way back with warp planks until you connect into the quartz again. And you do want warp slabs on top of the warp planks and gray concrete. The row of black concrete you'll go up diagonally right from, then right, then up diagonally right, then right, and you'll just fill in these 4 rows. That feels different for some reason. Oh, I do want to check if it actually is. For some reason it, like... Okay, yeah, it is. That's interesting. I don't know why that's different. Either way. Yeah, and you kind of want the same thing going with the next row of warp you had for the previous one, where, you know, it's the gray concrete either side. Just go back to the same point for now that we have. I know you won't end up running into the smooth quartz like here, but still just kind of have it. And again, make sure you don't cover up the black concrete with the warped, because we do want that to be there. And just bring this whole roof back to this point. And there's a lot of perfect cutoffs here. And then also, like, row warp planks will go all the way back. There's a lot of perfect cutoffs with the roofs here, I believe. Like, this one appears to cut off perfectly. No, there's one row. So the first row of the next one you'll do the same thing with, where... Okay, that's why it's different. So you actually want to take this slab and go back by 3. Then you'll go down diagonally back with a black concrete and go back to the same point as that one, which is, I don't remember, it's like whatever it was. And then you'll go up diagonally back with a warp 7 all the way back until you're at the same distance. Then this warp plank will be brought back. Actually, we'll just take the black concrete first, and you want to bring it up diagonally right by 2, right, and then up diagonally right, and this will be this one. So, from this one and for the next 3 peaks after, except for the row of subs you already placed, you want to go behind it with the warped by only 2 rows, and that will include a gray concrete if you end up needing one, where it would be, you know, just like where the, basically the, I guess the, if the warp plank has a slab on top and it's up against the black concrete, it'll be a gray. That's the best way I can describe it. And so for these, it is the top 2 rows connecting this row of warp slabs. So yeah, it's a little different just because of the first peak having, like, being up against the wall here, basically. That's the main reason it's different. And yeah, and again, you see I'm 2 behind there. And I'll bring this warp plank row back. And I'm not really going to worry about any of the gray filling in yet or anything. And again, it's going to be, what is it, the next 3 I said? Yeah, so you should have 5 windows in total, and these will be back to this point. I don't know why I filled that in, though, because I do need the black concrete. So yeah, same as the other side, I'll have a row there, and then I'll go up diagonally right 2, right, up diagonally right. And yeah. Whole lot of roofs. Oops, that's the wrong row. And then 1, 2, and yeah. Hopefully that is self-explanatory enough or easy enough to understand. I always have that problem where I'm like, I know I go fast sometimes with it, especially with something like that, but I'm like, I sincerely hope it's at least understandable, you know? I try to not make it 3 hours while also getting the point across to where you can build the thing properly. And, you know, it's a fun line to, you know, walk. Sometimes. Other times it's not. But I guess if anybody has any insight on that, let me know. If it's fine the way that I do it, or if you want it to be a little bit more in detail. But, like, especially for this, I guess the case being, you know, it's the, like, 4th time this has shown up, so. Although if it is for the first time in a new part, I do try to be a little bit more meticulous with it. Except for there, I guess. That was just an exception on all accounts. That's 4, and I need 5. So, 1 more. I don't know why I keep wanting to fill that row all the way across. Maybe that first one screwed me up. When in doubt, blame a different part of the build. It works well every time. And then that row can connect. And yeah, again, you eventually do definitely get the feel for how it's supposed to go. Eventually, it's just muscle memory, like, yeah, okay. Even if it takes a while. And there's always, you know, structure blocks, but you should have this. Now, the next... With a perfect cutoff on this part, I should add. The next 4 peaks, you want to just bring back with warped by 5 rows. So I'm going to take this one here, and I'm going to bring this slab back by 5. And so, again, what did I say? 4 peaks? Yeah, 4. You're bringing back with this. And there's no gray concrete or anything. There's nothing going on. It's just the warped. I mean, we'll have the gray concrete on the actual side later, but... not really worried about that just yet. Yeah, and then after this, these roofs are all filled in, we get the gray in, and one other thing sorted out with the distance of them. That'll be the end of the part. I think we'll sort out the distance first, though, because that does kind of matter for the amount of gray we need to fill. Again, I don't want to go too long, but I do want this to be not a ton of parts, so I might just overfilled. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I did. Unfortunate. Anyway, you should have this. So we should have 2 left. Now, the end warped plank on this final one we filled, you want to extend it back by 3 at the far right here. And then the 2 peaks to the right will be brought back to that point. Which is 7 rows if you're following. So I say this number is supposed to be 8, and it's actually supposed to be 9. I'll say there's a mistake later, just like ignore that. You see over here, I just didn't fill this one far enough. So yeah, it should be 9, not 8. But just kind of go with what I had, and everything will work fine. I just made a little bit of an oopsie. And again, still no black concrete or gray or anything going on. I didn't really see the point in trying to make half a window when there's a section above this that's just gonna get in the way anyway, so. Just made more sense to fill it in entirely. What? Okay, I just don't know what I did. Oh, because I was already... You're right, that already did a block. Anyway, it should look like this. Looks kind of cool, actually, like the left ones with the windows, but also having no sidewall. I don't know. So, if you take the one warp slab row here on the far left of the... Not the leftmost little curved section, but the one to the right. It's this row of slabs that kind of is just chilling here for some reason. You want to extend it back an additional 6. And that will also include the peak to the left of it. Any block that is beyond the smooth quartz distance back. And I'm also going to actually bring the smooth quartz of this back along with the... Just the far right of the cyan concrete, like so. So it kind of, you know, fills that in. And I'll make sure that it is all entirely filled in, which it should be, yeah. From this point, the left side of each peak will be filled in with gray concrete. Obviously, you just really need to go under this furthest right row of warped planks by 3 rows of gray concrete is kind of the magic number, I guess. And I'd say keep that consistent regardless. And yeah, if you don't care for the ending here, that is the end of the part. So anything else that you need will not actually, well, there won't be anything else you'll need. So yeah, you are free to leave, I guess. And get ready for part 4. Which, if you're members, will be out probably by the time you're at this point in the video. Honestly, it's probably, like, already there. Back to back. Always something special to be able to spend 15 years recording. No, actually. I mean, again, with these it does become more because I'm going for longer part totals in general, so... So 3x3 right? Worst case, I'll have to remember to fix that, but I think it's right. Oh, wait, it isn't? Ah, it's fine. I always do that. I'm like, yeah, you don't need anything else, and then I end up making a mistake somewhere else, so... That is what it is. You win some, you lose some. It might have actually been the way that I... No, because I brought back the slab. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, yeah, it is just all one off. That's unfortunate. We'll have to fix that next part then. So just don't touch it. I'll worry about it then, because again, I did say you don't need anything else. Anyway, once you're done that, ladies and gentlemen, that is Playtime Co. Part 3 complete. The exterior, new one. Thank you guys so if you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully next part we'll fix that little oopsie, and then we'll also do the barns and, well, the brick section first, and then probably the barns, and I think that'll be the really main majority of it. So yeah, with that being said, have a fantastic rest of your day or night, and I will see you on the next one. Okay, it took my emoji. I should have anticipated that, actually. It didn't click the button. Peace.